guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to come on here really briefly to talk about just the motherhood journey. Returning back to work from maternity leave, how a working mama can not lose her shit, not lose her cool, and what that looks like. Obviously it will look different for everyone, but I just wanted to come on here and share some tips or some things that I think will be good for a mama going back to work, whether that's returning from maternity leave, entering the workforce even after having kids much later, or just a mama already in, their career or working mama. I feel like this topic isn't discussed as much. It is something that I feel like needs attention, and we almost need our own little camaraderie, our little, community to feel encouraged, to feel supported, and to feel loved through the journey. The journey is not easy at all. It's not. And I guarantee you, I'm sure you know that and reminded of that every single day, but you got it. You're doing it. We're all doing it. We have everything that we need to be able to do it successfully, and showing up and wanting it and having it placed on your heart, I think, is enough. So this video is going to be specifically for my mamas that are working mamas, whether you're married or not. That's a whole nother added part to this journey, this difficult journey that we are finding ourselves in, right? So one of the things I want to say to start off with is to let you know that no matter how hard it is, I feel like waking up and showing up is, half of the battle, if you will. A lot of times we tend to put more on ourselves than it's needed, just because we're either overachievers or, we have this idea in our mind of what it should look like. And to be frank, all this shit is hard. It's all hard. It's very difficult to work and to come home and do more work. So I think some of the things that I've implemented, I want to share with you. So the first thing is I just try to wake up and accomplish one thing, right? And to me, if I've accomplished one thing, I feel like it's already a success. And whether that's getting the kids all to school on time, that's an accomplishment. Getting to work on time, that's an accomplishment. Packing lunch, that's an accomplishment. Not getting frustrated in the morning when one of my kids is not listening or doing something the first time, right? How many times do we say that? If I have to say this again, or I've already said this 3 times, or why aren't you listening? If I can just ease my children into an easy day, and a smooth morning, I feel like I've already accomplished. So just counting those small wins, really holding yourself to a standard of, if I can just accomplish one thing. Oftentimes we have these long to-do lists. I almost wanted to pull mine up. And it's okay if you don't accomplish everything on that list, right? If you accomplish one thing or 2 things, count it as a success. I think that it's warranted. I feel like what we've been called to do, to work and to be a mother, is challenging in itself, right? So if we can just count those small little wins, I feel like we're already on our way, right? The other thing is, returning to work, specifically from maternity leave, there is never a right time, right? So just being mindful of that. If you're watching this video and about to return, or you're watching this video and wondering if the time that you'll have off is enough, it's never enough. Nothing is enough. The US, unfortunately, the time that we're given, whether that's 6 weeks, whether that's 12 weeks, it's just not enough. Me specifically, I got 12 weeks, 6 weeks paid, 6 weeks unpaid. And it just really sucks. The law surrounding maternity leave, it's horrible in the US. It genuinely is. There isn't enough support for moms. Oftentimes we are the ones behind a lot of these companies, and to just be given 6 weeks to extend our family and essentially keep the economy going, it's just not sufficient. So don't beat yourself up about it. It's nothing that you can really do. It doesn't matter if you're given a year off. All of it is not enough. as mamas, our goal is and our priority is to make sure our children are meeting those milestones and just hoping that we're there to partake in them. So I think, it's never enough time. There's never a right time to return back to work, but do what's best for you. Do what you can. Do what you are afforded the opportunity to. If you have to go back in 6 weeks, or if you have to go back in 12 weeks, just try your best to not beat yourself up about it. Look at it as, a contribution to your family. You're going to be going to work for your own sanity, and to just get some time away to go ahead and to contribute to your family financially. A lot of times people return to work just from a mental health standpoint. I know I found myself in that category with my second. The first one, I thought I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I tried it for about 7 or 8 months and it just wasn't for me. Like, I'm just not the person to stay at home, and to each his own. This is not any bash to anyone who is a stay-at-home mom. I mean, I think everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and for me, one of my strengths is feeling like, I'm a part of something. And it's not that I'm not a part, you're not a part of anything at home. I know this just sounds so bad, but something that I've built and worked so hard for. And for me, that's my career, right? So going to college, having this dream, and then actually seeing it unfold is something that I constantly want to contribute to, as well as having a dream and a goal with my family. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I have two dreams, and I don't want to forfeit one for the other. So for me, going to work is where I found my source of strength, my source of confidence. And being a mother of girls, I mean, I hope to show them that, having an education and having a career is something that is rewarding and fulfilling, and that you can do both, right? So, yeah, so with that second point, if you have to return back, just try to spin it in a positive way. If you can, get help, where you can. I know that's easier said than done. You don't trust people with your kids, or, I mean, even if it's from a mental health standpoint, talk to your doctors and physicians about, some of the help you may need. For me, just sleep. I was just sleep deprived, and I needed help, and so I had to lean on my mother and my mother-in-law to help me. And as hard as I was to ask, it was just what I needed, and I had to acknowledge that. I had to be honest with myself and do it scared, right? The other thing I want to say that helped me return back to work was just to get organized. I literally had to put everything on a schedule. So whether it was my day-to-day routine at work, I had an agenda where I would, time block and identify everything that needed to be done at work, everything that needed to be done at home on a monthly schedule as well as a weekly schedule. And everything had its place, its time, and if it wasn't scheduled, it didn't happen. Simple as that. Like, everything was on a schedule, even down to the chore list. Everyone has a chore list. We have one chore list, but everyone has a chore and a responsibility to the house, because I had to realize I can't do it all. And although I do have a house cleaner, she's not here every day, right? She's here once a month, once every 4 to 6 weeks. And that means day to day, I need help cleaning up. So everyone has a list that they are responsible for to contribute to this home. And so everything is organized and everything is planned. So whether that's weekend activities, extracurricular activities, everything is planned out, which is something that helped me stay sane and helped me when I was running on fumes. So when I couldn't think, or was fogged brain, or just tired or exhausted, I knew I can go to my calendar and look at the day and see everything that I'm supposed to do for that day. I would schedule it out on a Sunday. So every Sunday I would schedule everything for the week. Now granted, I had stuff that was a month out that would be on my monthly page, and then every Sunday I would transfer that from the monthly page to the weekly calendar, and then that is what I knew I was doing for that week. I did that every Sunday, and then either the night before or the morning of, I would look at what I'm responsible for either that day or the following day. And that's what helped me and still helping me, because I do have an 8-month-old. So still helping me stay organized is just keeping everything scheduled, everything planned, and everything on a list. I actually do have an Etsy store with a lot of my organizational tools that I do sell for a very, very low cost, like $2. And it's just printouts. Like sometimes I'll print out, 4 or 5 copies at work. Yes, I do print at work or at home. And then that way I'm constantly updating what I need to do for that week or for that month. So you'll see on my Etsy, I'll link it below. I have a lot of organizational things there that will help you stay organized, mama. I saw something where someone said, and it resonated with me, your kids deserve the best of you, not the rest of you, right? And so with that, my next tip is to make sure that you are putting your family first, and I know this is so easier said than done, and I'll share my journey really quick. So coming right out of college, I'm an accountant. I also sell real estate. I have stories about that where I quit accounting to do real estate at one point, and then now I'm back in the accounting field, obviously because of the market turn, and just, there was a point where I was doing both at once. But right now, as it stands, I'm doing full-time accounting and part-time real estate. But, straight out of college, I wanted to just be a CFO. I wanted my CPA license. I wanted to climb to the top in corporate. I wanted to blah, 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 blah. And, as I had my first kid, I still had those goals. Oh, I wanted to be blah, blah, blah. I would take jobs. I would quit jobs. I would take another job and quit job just to climb. And I burnt myself out, right? I was exhausted. I was tired. Baby number 2 roll around. And now I'm mad at everyone because I just can't figure out why did this happen to me where I can't still climb the ladder and be a mama. And it comes a point in your life where you realize what matters most, right? And you have to prioritize them. So whereas, yes, I had 2 dreams of being a very successful career-driven woman and then also being a very successful mother and wife. And although those dreams were fairly neck and neck, I had to sit down and be real with myself and say, well, which one comes first? And everyone has their own time that they get there or what they prioritize. But for me, it was really neck and neck, like if I can just be honest. And so I had to realize you're a wife, you're a mother of 2, you have a lot of the things that you already need. What is a priority to you right now? And even if it's like this, where this is my family and this is my career, even if it's close, my family still came first. So what that meant for me is I could no longer take jobs that made work a priority. Okay? I could no longer accept promotions or positions where it meant that it came first before my children or my family or my home. I just could not do that. And I had to be honest with myself that, hey, you're in a season right now where your priority is your family. And so as much as you want this promotion or as much as you want this position or be with this company, if it requires you, even if you get into it, if it was requiring you to put that first at the expense of your family, it's not worth it. And so my point to that is what contributes to our health and our well-being is being in places where we're accepted, where we feel comfortable, and where we feel whole. And in order to have those things be a possibility, we have to be in places that we can show up as ourselves in. We can be honest in. We can just let our guard down and show up as ourselves. You don't want to come to a company where you're, the company comes first, and you're over here texting your husband about a doctor's appointment that, you really felt like you should have been there, because ultimately, if you can't show up as yourself authentically, it's going to weigh in on you and it's going to show. So what that means for me is, and this is just my own story, my own example, I had to be in companies where if that doctor's appointment was a priority, I needed to be in a company where I can show up and say, hey, I need to leave or I need to be somewhere by 2 o'clock. I can work through 2 and I can work after 4. But between 2 and 4, I need to be showing up for my family, for my daughters, or whatever the situation is. And so what that means is, like I said, I couldn't take positions or promotions where I could not be honest about what I'm encountering outside of work, because that is ultimately what matters, and that was a priority for me. And it took a while for me to arrive there, but when I got there, it was so much more rewarding because it was like, okay, now I feel like my life is aligned. The things that matter most, I'm being afforded the accommodation to be able to show up. And so that is my next tip, is just make sure you're going to places where you are, you know, accepted. You're not just tolerated, but you're accepted and you're able to show up as your authentic, genuine self. So that's all I really have. I hope those are a few tips. If I think of any more, I'll maybe do a part 2. But yeah, I just want to remind you that, you know, going back to work is not easy, but you are contributing. You know, that is a form of contribution to your well-being, your health, your child's well-being, your health, your family's well-being, and just the overall well-being of your family. Going to work, although as hard as it is, in this current environment, is necessary. And I know it sucks, but you are doing the best you can. You're showing up as best you can, and to be honest, that's enough. And so if you can just remind yourself, you know, what I have is enough, what I'm doing is enough, and show up as that, the rooms will shift to accommodate you and accommodate that. So yeah, just wake up every day, try to accomplish one thing. There is no true balancing act. We're constantly juggling, we're constantly giving and taking, and that is the beauty of it. This too shall pass, right? So just remember to show up as your whole self. Your children deserve the very best, not the rest. They deserve the very best of you. And so it is your responsibility to put them first and to make sure that you are showing up as your authentic self in the places outside of home. And to me, that is the key to being able to show up and return back to work successfully as a new mom or as a mother. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope this is a good one. I hope it's fairly short. And I'll talk to you later.